Okay, good afternoon, everyone. For your attendance, please write your last name and first name in the comment section. Then, may I remind everyone that this session is recorded and will be uploaded in the VLE for your perusal. So, karon lang ako siya napansin no na ato mga recorded session is walay tingog. I don't know why. So, yun, you may now start, Jessa, so that we
Opo,
can
sir.
maximize the time.
Makaklaro ninyo, guys?
Yes po.
Okay, so let's start. Good afternoon, everyone. My report is about Unit 5, Monetary Policy and International Trade, Lesson 14, the role of the central bank, instruments and effectiveness of monetary policy. So, learning objectives. Develop and apply tools of macroeconomic analysis to critically questions, analyze, and discuss economic problems and issues. Intended learning outcomes is understand the purpose and functions of central banks and appreciate the relationship between money and inflation. So, the history of banking in the Philippines. Even before foreigners invaded the Philippines, economists say that our ancestors knew how to save and borrow money, but this tradition can often be seen in families, relatives, or leaders. So this proves that namana natin ang habit na mag-ipon ng pera sa piggy bank or mga bamboo na ginagawang alkansya. So in modern times, banking began with the arrival of the Spaniards. Obras Pias was the first institution built on Spanish government landing in the 16th century. Ang mga Espanyol ang siyang nagturo sa mga Katolikong Pilipino na magbigay ng 10% ng ating income sa mga simbahan. So it was seen that the churches are collecting funds for church activities. So, wait lang. In Southeast Asia, the first bank established was El Banco Español Filipino. Hala, murag mali. Wait lang, sir, ha, murag. Madaing. So, in Southeast Asia, the first bank established was El Banco Español Filipino de Isabel II, is now known as the Bank of the Philippine Islands or BPI. It began on August 1, 1851. So, doon na nagsimula na maging popular ang bangko sa mga tao. So, during the American era, many banks opened. In 1906, the American government set up postal savings banks in various parts of the country to make banking popular with the people. Pagkatapos niyan, marami ng mga bangko ang sumunod na naipatayo na pagmamay-ari ng mga simbahang Katoliko. 5. On February 4, 1916, the Philippine National Bank or PNB was established. This was followed by China Banking Corporation and the Philippine Bank of Commerce. Even before the outbreak of World War II, may 17 bangko na ang sumerbisyo sa ating bansa. The PNB and the postal banks ay pagmamay-ari ng gobyerno, 6 rin ang pagmamay-ari ng simbahang katoliko at ang iba ay pagmamay-ari ng mga relihiyosong organisasyon at mga Pilipino. So in 1946, when the Philippines gained independence, a new banking system was established. Banks closed during the war, reopened and in 1948, the Central Banking Act was enacted. So currently, there are many banks that serve the Filipino people. Many Filipino-owned banks have also opened abroad. At may maraming serbisyo na ang naibigay ng bangko tulad ng lending, pagpapahiram ng pera, time deposits, automated teller machines or ATM, safe deposit boxes, payroll handling, and automatic debit at iba pa. So we are very familiar with this. So, next, rural banks. It is located in the countryside, so it is called the rural bank. Our government has paid attention to this type of bank to help Filipinos in the province so that their needs can be met when it comes to saving and borrowing. So tinawag itong rural banks sa kadahilanang ito ay napaparoon sa mga probinsya upang makatulong sa mga Pilipinong nasa probinsya pagdating sa pag-iipon at paghiram ng pera. Examples of these are the Rural Bank of Bulacan and the Rural Bank of Pagsanhan. Government bank with special duties. Our government established banks with special functions such as the Rehabilitation and Finance Corporation or RFC. They receive funds to be used in the recovery of the war-torn economy. So the RFC ay ngayong nakikilala nating the Development Bank of the Philippines or DBP. The government also established the Land Bank of the Philippines or LBP. Nani siya sa kanang green good na bank, commercial land bank. Kita natin siya sa Gmall. And we are very familiar with it, right? So LBP is to implement a land program that will help Filipino farmers. So government bank with special duties. The Philippine Amana Bank or PAP was established in 1970 to help Filipino Muslims with their economic needs. There's also a postal bank at other post offices so that young people can save easily. So the Philippine Amana Bank is to help Filipino Muslims at may mga postal banks din para sa mga estudyante o mga bata na nakakatulong na makapag-ipon ng madalian. So next is commercial bank. This is the most well-known bank because most of the banks we have today is commercial bank work is of this type. The main to supply revolving the capital for the economy is through short-term loans. We are very familiar with these types of banks. An example of these are Metrobank, BPI, and Banco de Oro. International Bank. International banks have operations even abroad. There are Filipino banks with branches in other countries such as PNB. There are foreigners also banks with branches in the Philippines such as Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank and Citibank. Universal Bank. It is also called a full service bank because it can offer more services to people than a commercial bank. Banks with a capital of 500 million pesos or more can apply for a universal banking license. This bank can be an investment house, rural bank. So these are the banks where you can loan for housing and can be your savings bank, development bank, and so on. You can also invest directly in those private companies. Examples of these are PNB, PCIB, Metrobank, GCPB, and Allied Bank. So bank activities. To lend money. The bank lends money to its qualified clients. In this way, the bank earns interest or profit. There are different types of lending with short term or debt that is repaid within 30, 60, or 90 days and long term loans to be paid over 5, 10, or 25 years. So example na to, no, bank activities. We bank because we trust that we will not steal or lose our money here, right? Tama po ako, 'di ba? Mas pinipili ng karamihan sa atin ang magbangko kasi alam nating imposibleng mawala ito dahil the Philippine Deposit Insurance Corporation or PDIC are guaranteed our deposits. Even our money can be lost nang dahil sa hindi inaasahang ninakawan ng bangko, mababalik at maibabalik ang perang ating dineposito sa bangko. An equivalent fixed limit. The bank will provide a note or record of the deposit of savings passbook to use and give it a profit. So sa lend money, ito yung pagpapahiram ng bangko ng pera sa atin at sa pamamagitan nito, magkakaroon ng interest at profit ang bangko. It is also classified according to its purpose such as car loans, housing loans at iba pa. Oftentimes, the bank asks for collateral to ensure that their money lent can be returned. Sometimes, pag naglo-loan, need my collateral such as motorcycle, house, cars, and land titles. Depende po sa amount na ating hiniram sa bangko. May co-maker rin dapat dahil kung hindi nakapagbayad ang mismong humiram, maaaring ang pumirmang co-maker ang pagbabayarin. So, send money or collect money. The bank can transfer money for the client. For example, sending money earned by an OFW through a bank. The money will be available to the sent person from the bank. We can also use banks to send money. An example of this is our OFWs na mas gugustuhing safe ang perang ipapadala nila sa kanilang pamilya. They prefer to use as banks and transferring money than other money remittance services. And others may also prefer local remittance center when they just transfers money inside the country. So, third, perform legal roles. The bank plays the legal role of the enterprises and financial states of private companies to smooth the financial affairs of each other. The banks are very useful in the business industry because in banks, businesses can do smoother and easier transactions. The bank will be the valuable partner a business can have. So, the rest will be continued by my partner, Ricalin Pabe. So, unya na lang ang ato ang question and answer, guys, ha. So, excuse me, sir.
Yes po.
I-present na nako ang kay,
Yes pa.
kay Pabe.
Yes pa.
Makita ninyo, guys?
Yes po.
Okay po, thank you, sir. So, maano ni siya. Madungog ninyo, sir?
Yes po.
Okay po, sugod na ko sa sugod, sir. Thank you, sir.
Ay wala itingog ang iyahang ano.
Wala ni tingog, sir?
Wala.
Wait lang po, sir. Kung saan siya pagpatingog?
Will accept as a standard of payment for the products or services they buy or acquire. It can be in the form of gold, silver, or bronze, or it can also be in the form of paper. In the Philippines, the bank is considered a financial institution that helps households and businesses to save and raise money. The Central Bank of the Philippines or CBP was established on January 3, 1949 as the government national bank and standing bank of bank. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or BSP is the central bank of the Republic of the Philippines. It was established on July 3, 1993 pursuant to the provision of the 1987 Philippine Constitution and the new Central Bank of 1993. The BSP took over from Central Bank of the Philippines, which was established on January 3, 1949 as the Country Central Monetary Authority. It is stated in Section 2 of the amended Republic Number 265, duty of the central bank is to manage the finances of the country. This responsibility is carried out to achieve the financial objective according to the overall economic policy of the government. Here are the objectives of the Central Bank of the Philippines. Number 1. Maintain the internal and external financial stability of the Philippines and safeguard the international value of its peso against the other world currencies. Number two, strengthen financial lending and exchange conditions towards equitable economic development. As it stated in Section 2 Amended Republic Number 265, it shall be the responsibility of the Central Bank of the Philippines to administer the monetary and banking system of the Republic, to maintain monetary stability in Philippines, to preserve the international value of peso and convertibility of the peso into freely convertible currencies, and to promote a rising level of production, employment, and real income in the Philippines. Activities of the Central Bank of the Philippines. It is the duty of the Central Bank of the Philippines to issue money according to the needs of the country. That is why our money states that it is the responsibility of the BSP. Trabaho gyud sa Central Bank of the Philippines na mag-issue og kwarta according lang sa kinahanglan ug kinahanglanon sa atong country. Ug tanang ginapagawas na kwarta within sa ato ang country is for our country's sake. Any form of money laundering is punishable under the law. Money laundering is the process of concealing the origin of money obtained from illicit activities such as drug trafficking, corruption, embezzlement, or gambling by converting it into legitimate source. Penalties for the crime of money laundering: the penalty of imprisonment ranging from 7 to 14 years and fine not less than 3 million Philippine peso but not more than twice the value of the monetary instrument or property involved in the offense, shall impose upon the person convicted under Section 4A of this Act. No one can make money except BSP, so wala na gyoy laing pwede magbuhat og kwarta ang Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas lang. Act as a bank of banks and government advisor on financial matters. The BSP takes care of all financial matters related to the country's lending and financial services such as debt repayment or external debt, foreign exchange services, and exchange of fees between banks. So, ang tanan na financial matters na related sa atuang country is gina-care of na siya sa Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Take care of the country's gold, silver, and other financial reserves. The BSP needs to safeguard gold and dollars reserves to maintain financial stability in the country. The BSP also keep large deposit of paper and coins in its case, safe deposit boxes or container of valuables. So, ang tanan nga na-reserve sa Bangko Sentral na mga gold ug dollars is kinahanglan gyud kaayo nila nga ampingan para ma-maintain ang financial stability sa atoang country. So dili lang golds ug dollars ang gi-reserve sa Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Nag-keep sad sila og dako na deposit of paper and coins. Arrange fees for another bank. Because the BSP is the standing bank of banks, it can lead to another banks that have problems financially. The BSP can also issue emergency notes in the event of financial crisis. So, ang Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas kay ang bangko sad sa uban nga bangko. Ang Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas kay nagapautang pud siya sa ubang bangko labaw na og naay problema sa kwarta ang uban nga bangko. Serve as an observer of bank and non-bank institution. The BSP monitor and ensure that all banks in the Philippines are operating properly. Likewise, the BSP check whether all banks and financial institutions comply with the laws and regulation set it by. So, gina-observe o gina-ensure gyud sa Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas ang mga uban nga bangko ug mga financial institution ug naga-operate ba sila og tarong ug ilahad yung gina-check ang tanang bangko ug financial institution ug naga-comply ba sila sa law and regulations. Make monetary policy. This is one of the most important tasks of the Central Bank of the Philippines because it adjusts the level of income and money supply to prevent inflation so as to have stable prices in the market and have many jobs throughout an economy. Close monitoring of events in the country is needed in order to carefully apply the appropriate policy or policy across the country. There cannot be more or less money in circulation because such a situation could be dangerous for the country's economy. The money supply should be moderate so as not to cause inflation or deflation in the country. The organizational structure of the Central Bank of the Philippines. 1. Monetary Board implements the power and duties of the BSP such as monetary policy and observation and management of the financial system. So sila tong nagahimo og patakaran sa kwarta o sila ang pangasiwa sa sistema sa kwarta. 2. The monetary stability sector is tasked with formulating policies and implementing monetary policy including meeting the needs of the Philippines. So, ang ilahang task is mag-formulate o mag-implement sa monetary policy. Apil na dito ang mga kinahanglan sa mga bangko sa Pilipinas. The supervision and examination sector implements and monitor the observance and compliance of banking laws to keep banking healthy and vibrant in the country. Sila ang mga naga-implement o naga-monitor sa mga pagsunod sa mga banking laws para mapanatili na vibrant and healthy ang banking sa atuang country. The resources management sector serves as the supporter of the financial, physical, and human needs of the BSP. So, sila tong mga nagasupport financial, physical, o ang mga kinahanglan sa mga tao sa Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Security Plan Complex, the very place where the country's finances are protected. So, mauna siya ang lugar, ang mismong lugar kung saan nga ginaprotektahan ang pananalapi ng bansa. The powers and function of Bangko Sentral are exercised by its monetary board, whose 7 members are appointed by the President of the Philippines as provided for by RA 765G or the new Central Bank Act. One of the government sector members of the monetary board must also be a member of cabinet. Members of monetary board are prohibited from holding certain position in government agencies and private institutions that may give rise to conflict of interest. The member have fixed and overlapping terms except for the cabinet secretary representing the incumbent administration. Based on the new Central Bank Act, one member must be a member of the President's Cabinet. The Governor is the standing chairman. Its other members are the Secretary of Finance, Director of National Economic Development Authority or NEDA, Chairman of the Board of Investment or BOY, and 3 representatives from the private sectors.
Okay, you may now ask question if you have. Naipangutana? Anyone? I audible, madunggan.
Yes, sir. Madunggan, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir, you're
everyone.
audible, sir.
Namoy pangutana about sa history of bank and the role of the central bank. I think it is clear. Naipangutana.
Now may prepare isa lang ka question po, sir.
Okay, you may now ask question na. Ilabay na tong Jess, atong isa.
Okay po. Muna siya. How can you say that the banks are helpful to our community as a whole?
Okay, Jess, just call at least 2 student lang ha so that we may
Kadala, sir. Kilat-kilat.
murag nagkilat-kilat po diri sa ang side. Sige, sige.
Nagkilat-kilat, teacher. Sige, okay. Um, Okay lang, tawagon ako si Mr. Leo Jan.
Just aside from Leo Jan
Okay, sige, sige,
and
sir.
Angeline, Gerald, oo, sige, try to call other classmates na pod nimo ha.
Okay po. May I call on Miss Mariel Reyes?
Hello, good evening.
Good
Kilat you
evening.
Director. So the question is, how can you say that the banks are helpful for our community as a whole? Well, makaingon jud ko nga importante kay ang bangko kay aside sa dito nagatapok ang kwarta no dito nagakuha og kwarta sila ang nagaprint sa kwarta. Kanang di, dito po ma-secure ang kwarta sa ka community or sa ka bansa. Well, sila po ang nagakaan ka ng say tawagan na naga-lend og money sa mga consumers o businesses and mao po to nga makontrol ang kwarta sa community. So, I think mao to. Thank you.
Okay, tama, Miss Mariel, no? So, pwede na ko tawagon sa ikaduha si Miss Angeline Medalio. Hello? Na si Miss Angeline Medalio?
I think she's not around. I think we need to proceed now to the next report. It's a very good no.
Okay.
As what the reporters discussed a while ago, there are different types of banks. We have the rural bank, the commercial, the international, as well as the international bank. So these banks also offer different services. No, they lend money, they send or collect money, and other perform different roles. No, so yun, depende lang sa mga bangko kung sa ilang mga gina-offer. So technically, these mga banks no really help the community, especially those mga businessmen no nga who don't have enough money no para sa ilang capital. So thank you so much to reporters. Let's proceed to Makapato and Moral. You may now present your PPT po. Thank you. Naa si Makapato og si Moral.
Wait lang sir, hawak lang.
Hi guys, we will be reporting the Unit 5 Monetary Policy in International Trade, Lesson 15 Theoretical Basis of International Trade. Theoretical Basis of International Trade. The theories of trade. The concept of exporting, importing goods and services abroad is rooted in the concept and principles conceived by Adam Smith and David Ricardo. In the principle of absolute advantage, they believe that it is better for a country to only create products or services for which they have sufficient knowledge and skills. In this system, the country has no wasted resources but all are used properly for production and consumption. More products will be created and their quality will be better so that the needs of the society can be better met. So according daw to Adam Smith and David Ricardo sa principle of absolute advantage, mutuo sila na mas maayo na sa isa ka bansa kay sila na mismo ang magbuhat og produkto kung asa na sila enough knowledge and skills. Sa kani nga pamaagi, walay masayang na resources so mas daghan ang produkto ang mabuhat na mas kalidad para matugunan ang pangangailangan sa atuang society. But there is one question that bothers them. Don't all countries have sufficient resources? How can a country have things that are not in their place? Here was formed the principle of comparative advantage, which states that countries should participate in the process of exchanging goods and services to benefit them both. It is the external sector to rotate and move goods to different parts of the world so that all countries have the products they need in the higher quantities and better quality. Not all products or services can be found in one place or country. Countries need to exchange goods that exist in their respective areas so that they can equally benefit from them. It is truly important for every country to meet the needs of their people and solve the problem of world scarcity. Pero nadyo isa nga pangutana, tanan ba nga lugar kay naay enough nga resources para sa tong mga daily needs? Di ba wala? So diriya na form ang principle of comparative kung asa dapat ang bawat countries kay mag-participate in the exchanging goods and services para mag-benefit ang both na bansa. Sa pamaagian ng exporting and importing, ma-meet nila ilahang needs ug makatabang sa pagsulbad sa ilahang problema. Meanwhile, imports and exports are divided into two groups. First, the visible items or products that are actually imported and exported. So kabalo naman siguro ta unsa ng mga visible products no. So example an na kay oil, machinery, food, clothes, etc. The second one is invisible items or services indirectly visible such as tourist spending, remittances of Filipinos from abroad, interest, dividends, freight charge, and foreign government transactions. Invisible items refers to those items which cannot be seen, felt, touched, or measured. For example, services of shipping, banking, insurance, etc. Balance of trade. It refers to the amount of annual product the country's imports and exports. It serves as a basis of the country's trade situation whose outcome can be either positive or negative. In relation to comparison having a so-called trade deficit from greater expenditure on imports than it earns on exports. This situation means an unfavorable balance of trade in the country's economy. Meanwhile, it can be said that the conditions of trades are favorable if the value of the exported is greater than the value of imported product. So diri ginatukoy ang halaga sa taunang produkto nga giangkat at niluwas ng bansa. Kani ang batayan sa sitwasyon sa kalakalan ng bansa na ang kalalabasan ay maaaring maging positibo o negatibo. Kaugnay ng paghahambing ng pagkakaroon ng trade deficit. So unsa man ang trade deficit? Trade deficit occurs when nation imports more than it exports. Kani nga situation nagpasabot nga dili maayo ang balanse sa kalakalan sa atong ekonomiya. Samantala, mas favorable kung mas dako ang halaga sa atoang gina-export kaysa sa halaga sa atoang gina-import. Balance of payment. It refers to the financial report that summarizes all the global trade of a country. This can be shown from three components. Current value of visible and invisible items, value of investment capital, debt, and grant aid, and monetary value from foreign reserves in various currencies and gold. Pasabot ani kay mao ni ang financial report nga ga-summarize sa tanang global trade sa atong nasud. Naa siya tulo ka components which are visible and invisible items. Halaga ng kapital sa pamumuhunan, utang at tulong gawad at halaga ng pera gikan sa mga dayuhang reserba sa lahi-lahing nga kwarta ug ginto. Of all the bases of trade, the most important that the country should focus on in accordance with the economic objective is the national advantage of a country in production as a result of specialization and a state of its capital. So ang pinaka-importante nga dapat pagtuunan ng pansin sa isa ka nasod kay alinsunod sa layuning pang ekonomiya ay ang pambansang bentahe sa isa ka bansa sa production bilang resulta ng espesyalisasyon at estado ng kapital nito. Specialization. It refers to a condition of efficient or effective production of a country by focusing on a single commodity that it can afford to produce from lower cost. The benefit may be in the quantity or type of product when it is good and there is a lot to do. It means more income can be earned. Geography and nature can greatly contribute to specialization of a country, such as Philippines, which is in a tropical location and has agricultural characteristics. At this point, the country will benefit more if it enriches agricultural products more. In analysis, it is good for a country to have specialization. In this way, the development production can be focused on the only commodity that has an advantage. But on the other hand, over-application of specialization will not cultivate another product that is needed, still expanding the country's economy. Ginatukoy ani kay kanang epektibong production sa isa ka bansa sa pamaagi sa pag-focus sa isa ka kalakal nga kaya i-produce gikan sa gamay nga presyo. So sa Philippines, kita dira sa Philippines sama jud sa tropical na lokasyon kung asa na atay agricultural characteristics sa kani nga pamaagi. Kung mas mag-focus pa jud ta ani naay possibility nga makinabang ang atong bansa ug kung mas pagyamanon pa jud nato ang produksyon produktong agricultural. So, aware man siguro ang tanan no nga ang Philippines kay also the world's largest producers of coconut, pineapple, and abaca. Country's capital, it is the consideration of a country's abundance of capitals to create many products. We can also use it in the situation of a country specializing in its chosen production based on the state of its capital. It states that workers' wages are more expensive in Japan. However, its capital is large. At this point, it will be more expensive to produce coconut because of the large labor cost. Instead, it will pay more attention to the manufacture of electronic devices. In conclusion, export of electronic equipment and import of coconut products, this is stated by the law of comparative cost. It states that a country's trade can be linked to two principles: comparative advantage, where it is advantageous for a country to create a product so that it can benefit more, and absolute advantage, where it specializes in creating the largest income in the country. Ito ay pagsasaalang-alang sa kasaganaan ng mga kapital ng isang bansa upang lumikha ng maraming produkto. Magagamit din nito sa isa ka sitwasyon sa isang bansang nagdadalubhasa sa napili nitong production batay sa estado ng kapital nito. Nakabutang sa diri nga mas dako ang sahod sa mga trabahante sa Japan, gayunpaman malaki ang kapital nito. Sa puntong ito, mas mahal ang paggawa ng niyog dahil sa malaking gasto sa paggawa. Business trade policies. We can classify the system of trade that exists in the country from the following rules. First, the nationalist trade policy. Nationalist trade policy. This is giving only attention to what is available within the country. In this system, the carrying out of export and imports, travel abroad, quarantine, and communication abroad are prohibited. This policy was enforced in Germany, Italy, Japan during the wars. So sila lang nagahatag og pagtagad sa kung unsa lang ang magamit sa sulod sa usa ka nasod guys. So kani nga sistema ginabawal ang pag-import o pag-export, travel abroad, a quarantine, and communication sa ubang nasod. Kani nga balaod kay gipatupad sa Germany, Italy at Japan katong panahon sa digmaan. So ginahigpitan jud ani nga mga nasod ang pag-import o pag-export para maiwasan ang shortages of goods sa domestic market kay mas gakita man ang pag-export. Next, free trade policy or free trade. This is the free entry and exit of products. There are no current tariffs or quotas on imported goods, immigration laws, communication restrictions, and customs barriers. So kani ang policy kung asa free lang ang mga lugar mag-import ug export. So ang mga example nga lugar nga free trade kay ang Australia, Bahrain, Canada, Colombia, etc. And lastly, combined trade policy, patriotic trade policy. Although foreign products are allowed to enter, they become strict and scrutinize, impose tariffs, quotas, and migration laws. Yes, ginaalaw nila ang pagsulod sa mga foreign products pero mahigpit o ginasiyasat nila. Napapataw ng mga tariffs at quota and migration laws. So when we say tariffs, this is a tax or duty to be paid on a particular class of imports and exports. While quota in international trade impose limits on the quantity or, in exceptional cases, the value of the goods or services nga gina-export or import over a specified period of time. So next will be report by Moaral.
Hi everyone, my name is Eureka M. Oral, and this will be the continuation of the report of Ms. Makapato. Factors affecting trade. 1. Geography and territory. Trade continues because of differences in form and abundance or scarcity of resources. Geography and territory kay ang trading is still ga continue because of the form and abundancy or scarcity of resources kay dili tanan countries like us towards any other country nga pareho tanan og resources and products where kita ga import og export tag goods products sa laing bansa. Two, technology. Being able to progress in modern knowledge and technology becomes a weapon to boost production thrive and be able to export abroad. Because of this, we are able to progress in modern knowledge ug tungod sa technology nahimo siyang weapon sa mga sellers or distributors to boost their productions that result nga pwede na sila maka-export og goods, products, and services abroad. Just like Shopee, kay we can order anything unya ang uban baya sellers kay dili taga Pilipinas. Number 3, investment. The inflow of foreign investment in our country has brought many changes. It influences not only the economic field but also the cultural, social, political, and technical aspects. Through investments, we can run through our business nationwide or global. Investment also influences not just economically but also sa atong cultural, social, political, o technical aspect. Number 4, policies and restrictions. The state of trade is also subject to the enforced regulation of a country. There are countries that implement open trade policy, regulation, quota setting, and tariff. There are countries nga naga-implement og open trade policy, regulation, quota setting, and tariff. Apparently, our country maintained two-tiered tariff policy including rice, corn, pork, chicken, meat, sugar, and many more. The positive impact of the trading sector is set out in the table below. Number 1, production benefits. Provides an opportunity to exchange knowledge, strategy, and technology. More jobs will be created. A country with limited resources will try to utilize its product manufacture. Yields high quality product. Economical production as a result of specialization. Number 2, market benefits. Got products hard to make domestically. B, excess production is not wasted and something is taken away. C, the competition is getting fierce. Naay bang products nga lisod buhaton sa sulod sa bansa like sa mga products nga naa pa sa laing bansa kay tungod sa kakulangan sa mga gamit. Number 3, consumption benefits. The product can be sold at a cheap price. B, get the products the country needs. Negative impact on our economy. Number 1, technical problems. Improper use of technology can be detrimental to production. B, the entry of technology requires huge capital. C, the Philippines has different focus on the system of using the factors of production. We focus on the use of labor intensive and not on the capital or capital intensive. Letter D, in the situation of our country, other countries are gaining more advantage. Ang mali nga paggamit sa technology can cause a big factor nga mapinsalang isa ka business. Like, dili ka kabalo mo gamit sa social media. It is the major factor nga nung dili mahalin imong products kay mali ang paggamit sa social media or technology. Number 2, internal production problem. Lowering the price of locally exported products. B, rising prices of foreign imported products. C, other types of industries that are less profitable for foreign trade are neglected. Ang pag-ubos sa presyo sa mga local products o sa pagtaas sa mga products nga gina-import gikan sa laing bansa. Ang mga company or industries nga dili kayo sikat kay napasagnan na lang hangtod mag-company shutdown na lang kay wala na igapalit sa ilang products kay natabunan sa mga sikat nga brand o mga products. Number 3, consumption problems. The taste of Filipinos is shifting to foreign products. B, more need and hope of Filipinos in foreign work. C, local culture changes with the entry of foreign influence. programs, and institutions for the trade sector. The Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, is the main government agency promoting trade, industry, and investment in the country. Still, among the tasks it carries out is the careful implementation of the program in liberalization, deregulation, and diversification of internal and external trade. It also responds to the expansion of the distribution of Filipino products in the global market. Under it are the following bureaus: Bureau of Export and Trade Promotion oversees promotion of information pertaining to various aspects of commodities for the method of exportation. It is the relevant information and assistance to current and potential exporters to enhance their capabilities and competitiveness as suppliers of quality goods and services to international markets. Bureau of International Trade Relations, which oversees the country's engagement in negotiations and trade relations. Sila ang ga-engage sa mga negotiations o mga trade sa ato ang country. Philippine Shippers Bureau, which serves as the representative in all interactions of Philippine shipping ships and policies regarding payment for ship products and other cargo. Ria sila ang ga-manage sa mga products nga ipang-ship sa ubang mga country o kung unsaan pagbayad sa mga ship products o mga cargo. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Custom, or BOC, although under the management of the Department of Finance, is the main agency that oversees the products exported and imported by the country. It also sets the trade tariff in the country. It is still one of its main duties to check the legality of products entering and leaving the country. Philippine Economic Zone Authority. It promotes economic zones in the Philippines, and large part of its activities is to increase the country's export and employment for many Filipinos. It also assists investors who locate and service facilities inside selected areas in the country, which are usually business process outsourcing and knowledge process outsourcing firms. Bonded Export Marketing Board establishes export facilities and leads the study of markets that will benefit the most from our products. Garment and Textiles Export Board promotes agreements relating to the export of textiles and clothing of the Philippines abroad. It operates, manages, and supervises the garment quota system stipulated and set up under the Agreement on Textiles and Clothing, which governs world trade in textiles and garments.
Okay, that's the end of the report. Anyone who wants to ask question? Okay, 10 minutes na lang pa-end na. Anyone? Okay, the report is all about theoretical basis of international trade. Am I audible? Madunggan ko.
Yes, sir.
Okay, they talk about
Yes,
absolute.
sir.
Okay, they talk about absolute advantage, comparative advantage, balance of trade, and balance of payment. We talk about absolute advantage. It means that this is if if there is a single nga products that we are good at, what they mention is specialization. So kana dapat ang ato ang tawagan na i-enhance,
Focus.
yeah, i-focus nato kung asa tahawd ana nga butang. So dapat that is the main point of absolute advantage. But uh since dili man, no, kay since we have scarcity ana, dili man tanan is naa sa ato as napud tay mga we also have products na kailangan din natin to create, no, other products as well. So that is why nabuhat si comparative advantage is that na as import and export, because kailangan nato ang mga raw materials po sa other country para nato, kasi nga they are napod sila absolute advantage, daghan sila, abunda sila nga ana nga resources, then kita kulang puta, so kailangan nato sila. Nga, then exchange, that is in comparative advantage, kanang basic nga definition niya. So sa balance of trade, so ang balance of trade lang, no, It talks about import and export if okay ang economy pag ingon ta nga mas daghan atong gi-export rather than sa ato ang gina-import. So negative effect of ito na economy if daghan ta gi-import, gamay ang ato ang export. So kung gyapon specialization as for example if we are good in agriculture since we are in the tropical region naman there the Philippines, so dapat ka na nga ato ang focus pero karon no murag ambot kung noon sa nga ato ang agriculture si BBM ang gyapon na si BBM day ang ato ang Secretary of Agriculture karon no, wala pa nakapangita. So kana kana unta nga department nga ano kanang mas ano gani kayo ta then kana inon murag wala kay na focusan wala sila naghatag og ano kaayo much more interest sa atong agriculture. And of course, the country's capital again kasi nga we don't have kato kagaya na example since we have a lot of mga katong katong coconut maing ana but we are lack in machine man 'di ba so kailangan natin ng country's capital kasi dili na siya kailangan so kailangan manghiram na punta and that's the time nga natin comparative advantage so kailan padala i-export na lang nato ang ato ang mga product that's it. So there are also factors affecting trade no geography and territory kasi nga lahi-lahi man ta og kuan lahi-lahi man tag lugar, differences in territory as well ang uban nasa tropic region ang uban nga dito sa mga dapit it could be in the Arctic and the Antarctic kuno asas lang nga region dapit so it means lahi-lahi pod ang mga products and services nga angay dito ihatag sa ilaha. When it comes also to technology there are also countries na behind pagyapon when it comes to technology no ing ana investment and the policies and restrictions sa kita we are very strict no when it comes to foreign investment kay ayun nga kasi it is stated in the constitution so kaya nga lang no kay pero gina-work out gihapon ang mga policies and restrictions especially sa mga tariff and quotas nga ginapataw nato sa ilaha. Now question so that we will end our session so that you can move or you can ano na attend classes na pod. Pangutana 1 2 3 4 5. Since there's none, no, prepare for tomorrow's teaching demonstration. Adsaman and Rola, we will start at 3 in the afternoon since there are two, ano lang, no, demonstrator kasi nga, the Achibida and Albero hope to move to face-to-face demonstration. So I think that would be all, everyone. Let's end our discussion with a closing prayer. May I request at least, Kinsa may request volunteer? Marquez, is that okay? Is it okay, Marquez? Ikaw mag-lead sa closing
Sure, yes.
prayer. Mm-mm.
Um, let's bow on our heads and let us pray in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Lord, thank you po sa lesson namin for today. And I hope um, you bless us all. Yun lang po. Thank you. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy
Amen.
Spirit.
Bye everyone and kita-kita na lang ugma na.
So,